It helps your brain practice success.
If you can do that with more of a smile and standing tall, you will be so much more capable of doing other things, of doing difficult things.
If you're comfortable, you're not growing confidence.
So make it something nice, make it something good, because at the end of the day, you should be your own best friend.
I can learn how to do that. That is possible.
You're listening to episode 11 of the Apology Void podcast.
And we are continuing on this week from last week. We spoke about confidence, but this week we're going to be talking about how we can build confidence.
How you can build confidence to be more like the two of us just dancing over here on video.
We were just talking about confidence killers before.
We were. Right before this, we were talking about confidence killers and how, like, the day before prom, I had my eyebrows done and the woman messed them up. And I was like a literal bloody mess because I was
because your skin was ripped off. Like, I was just escaping that whole story. Like,
yeah, my skin was ripped off my face right before prom. And I was sitting in the hotel room with ice over my eyes, trying to get the swelling to go down, so I didn't look like I had just basically been like sobbing and in a fight. So confidence killer right there. But today we're going to talk about ways to build your confidence and build yourself up so that you can go out into this world unapologetically, awesomely, your total, wonderful, badass self.
I love it.
I'm feeling good.
We're pumped. You were doing we went from punching to dancing. I feel like we're going back to punching.
I'm just gonna choreograph. It's like gonna be choreographed karate over here. Bum, 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 pow, pow. All right, so let's talk some confidence.
So for the type A people, we'll do like topics. I guess. Like list form for the type A people who love to. So number one for all our type A's in building confidence is stepping out of your comfort zone regularly.
Oof. That is like key number one. Key number one, because you cannot grow your confidence if you never do anything new. If you never try anything new, if you don't get out there and just do, like, you're not going to gain any experiences that will actually build your confidence. And I will tell you, that was a major step for me. So,
yeah. If you're comfortable, you're not growing confidence.
Ooh.
Like, don't be comfortable. I mean, you can be comfortable, but you need to break it to grow in areas. You've got to challenge yourself.
And, like, those challenges don't have to be big ones. They don't have to be like wild things like moving to a new town, starting a new job, getting a brand new outing that you do, going and climbing a mountain. Like, that doesn't have to be the thing, y'all. That doesn't have to be it. Okay, I've done some crazy things. Yes, but it didn't start that way. It started with talking to a cashier at a grocery store and like giving them an actual compliment. That's how it started for me. It was talking to random strangers. That was stepping outside my comfort zone. It was posting things on Instagram. It was trying a brand new hobby with a group of people, like going to an art class where I didn't know anyone. Like, I was so ashamed that I wouldn't be good that, like, I have never wanted to play video games with other people or board games because I'm so, like, afraid that I'm not going to do well, or I had so little confidence in myself in those things that, like, I was afraid of messing up. And so doing small things like talking to a stranger or putting something out on the internet or going to an art class or trying a new hobby or growing something in my backyard for the first time, I don't know, like any of that, those are ways to step outside your comfort zone. Like today I drove home, I just moved to this new town, right? Like 3 months ago. And I drove home from somewhere without maps. I was like, I think I know where I am. And so I just drove without using directions. And that was a huge confidence builder. That was outside my comfort zone. So
And that's a good example of like a little, I'm saying a little, but like just know where your limit lies, right? So if you're, and that's different for everybody. So if your limit is like you must use maps for directions.
Yeah.
Like I've never driven this before by myself without maps. Oh my gosh, that's my limit. Don't drive like 3 hours without maps. Maybe just drive somewhere small without maps. You know, it's just finding where your limit is and pushing that limit. So if my limit's like, oh, I've never climbed a mountain, I'm going to go climb a mountain, that might not be somebody else's limit. Like that might be like so far beyond the stratosphere that they can't even imagine doing that. So it's just about stepping out of your personal comfort zone. So find your own circle and then just stretching your circle a little bit. And don't listen to other people going, oh, well, I'm driving 10 hours without maps. It's like, okay, cool, good for you. Just drive your 30 minutes without maps, you know?
Yeah, today was a 10-minute drive. Like, and
amazing.
I knew I had my phone as a backup. One of the crazier things I've done is going on an unplanned 4-day trip where I just got in the car and started driving south. You know, that's a different level. That's a different level of getting outside your comfort zone. But it didn't start with that giant thing. You know, it started with going for a walk around my neighborhood through different parts that I had never been in by myself. It started with, you know, going to new shops on my own. It started with talking to a new person. Like I reached out to somebody on TikTok and was like, hey, you seem really cool. You live in the area. Let's get together. Just like I did with you, and was like, hey, you seem really cool. Let's start a podcast.
Yeah, and that for someone else is like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. So don't, like, I guess, you know, and this sort of leads into type A again, point number 2, is set small, achievable goals. So they have to be achievable. So stepping out of your comfort zone, a goal outside of your comfort zone, but it has to be something that you will actually do.
Yeah.
Because if it's way too big, you're not going to do it. And that's going to actually do the reverse. Yeah. That's going to break your self-confidence, because that talk about, oh, you're not good enough, you never do anything that you say that you're going to do, that sort of stuff then creeps in. So make sure that, because confidence I'll finish that sentence. Make sure you set them achievable. Confidence grows when we experience progress.
Right.
So that's number 2.
Number 2. Yeah. And it's every big goal can be broken down into smaller objectives, smaller achievable objectives. And so like one thing you can do is, if you're not a very outgoing person, but you want to grow that, or you want to use your voice more, try speaking up in a meeting once in the next 2 months. Just once. That's it. And then say, heck yeah, I did this. Have an accountability partner even, if that helps. Have somebody you can celebrate that with, because setting those small things that are achievable and actually following through gives you the confidence to do it again and again and again. It's how kids grow. Everything for them is new. And so when they experience this success, they're more likely to do things again. Adults learn the same exact way.
It's reinforcement. You know, there's lots of there's been study in psychology for forever. You know, positive reinforcement creates the behavior. It's very similar. So when we've got the small achievable goal, we know that we can do one tiny thing. We do the tiny thing. We get that positive reinforcement. I did it. I can do it. Our comfort zone grows a little bit, and then we can set another. I'm going to speak twice because I know that I can do it because I've done it once. Again, positive reinforcement. You actually do it. And then, like I mentioned, the negative, if it's too big, you won't do it. Then you get negative reinforcement and you won't repeat the behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like when you're at the gym, you don't start with the 100-pound weights. You start with the 1, 2, 3 pounds and you work your way up. You set. Please don't have any like major muscle blowout or anything here. We don't need sprains, tears, all that jazz. But it's setting the small achievable goals and then building on them. You build on things, just like when you are working out at the gym. Again, you can't start by running the marathon, usually. You start by walking and then running a half mile and then a mile, and you work your way up. So,
and for our Aussie listeners, kilometre, couple of
shoot.
Just saying. Just saying.
Kilograms.
And you touched on, I'm listing them today because that side of my personality is coming out. You've already touched on number 3. It was celebrate small wins.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Just acknowledge the achievements. Have an accountability partner, like you said, to celebrate. Yay, I spoke in front of one person today. Yay, I drove 10 minutes without maps today.
Yeah.
Just celebrate anything. And create that good feeling. That positive feeling, yay, I did that. Have that excitement.
Yeah, life is worth celebrating. And I believe everything is worth celebrating in life. And so let's do it more.
Just celebrate everything, right?
Literally. I have team meetings every week, and at the bottom of our notes, we keep a running list now of positive things that have happened, achievements. And every month when I meet one-on-one with my teammates, I'm like, what did we do this month? Because it's so easy to forget those things. So one of the things I started doing for myself at one point was, instead of a to-do list, having a to-done list. And it was all of the things that I had actually accomplished, so that I could celebrate the things I had done rather than get on myself about the things I hadn't. So having a victories list,
I love that.
even if it's small things, and some days it doesn't feel small. If you deal with any sort of setbacks in the mental health area, sometimes getting out of bed is a monumental Herculean task. Or chronic illness, same deal. I have my days where getting out of bed is worth a full-on party. So celebrate the things, write them down, tell someone, tell your pump up people. If you have people who you're not gonna necessarily put this win on the internet, but send it to your people who are your pump up squad.
And that's a good example of your win for that day versus somebody else's win, or what is an achievement is so different.
Yeah.
You having chronic illness and stuff, as you said, getting out of bed is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Whereas for someone who doesn't, like me, suffer chronic illness, that's a given, right? So, and I'm not saying that to be negative, but I'm saying if you're yes, I got out of bed, great. That's so great, because that's your individual experience. That's your individual win. And it's where you at in life, taking in all your circumstances and everything. So yeah, don't compare. I don't think we even have that on the list, but don't compare.
What is
going rogue.
Comparison
going rogue,
comparison is the thief of joy. Is that Correct. What it is?
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah.
And so be joyful in you and where you are, because we are all different.
Correct. What number are we at? 4. Number 4, type A's, develop a growth mindset.
Yeah.
This is a big topic in itself, but just a couple of points. Replacing thoughts. We have spoken about this in previous episodes a little bit, but rather than, I can't do that. Oh, that's never going to happen for me. Those negative connotations. Always believe that you can, or I'm not good enough for that. Replacing those with I can learn how to do that. That is possible for me. I am good enough. I am enough is the common sort of one there. But just embrace anything that you find as a challenge as an opportunity to grow.
Yeah, negative language limits growth. Basically,
100%.
When you say that you can't do something, you can't, because you've already told yourself, you've created the mindset where that cannot exist. If you tell yourself that, you may not be able to, you've created already an opportunity for doubt. So when you eliminate those things, all of the negative words from your language, you start to actually create an atmosphere where growth can occur, where confidence can occur, where you can start to go about things in a much easier manner because you've stripped away all of the doubt by simply changing your language. And I mean, it's such a big thing. When you start to change your language, you change your entire mindset. And when you change your mindset, you change your life. It's wild. So keep telling yourself you can, because you can.
Always. We can literally do anything.
This is true. This is true.
This is true. If you believe, right? If you believe that you can, then you can. Just saying.
I'm going to put it out there. I personally will not be running a marathon. It's not that I can't. It's that I know it would be detrimental for my body. So I personally am making the choice to do healthier, more constructive things to support my personal growth. That is how I choose to look at that.
Let's be honest, I probably won't run 100 meters, let alone a marathon.
Okay.
Because I don't like running.
And it's not like, exactly. It's not like you are telling yourself you can't. And that's a huge thing too, is the mindset the mindset and our physical limitations actually are connected. So while as somebody with a chronic illness, it would not be smart for me to actually push myself to do that, I choose to actually look at it in a way that supports growth in other areas. All right, if this isn't something healthy for me to actually work toward, what is something so that I can build my confidence in self in a different way? Because if I tell myself I can't do this, I'm starting to create a list of I can't do's, which just creates more grief. So like it all compounds no matter what. So if you're choosing not to do something for a particular reason, maybe frame it like that and come up with your other choices. So
it's about
look at that negative self-talk.
Never focus on it's about not focusing on that. Like, because you wouldn't do a marathon, because we're saying, say I can, you're not sitting there going, oh, well, there are some things that I actually can't do. Like a little, like, no, don't do that. Like, there are things that probably are not the best choice. Just, that shouldn't even enter your mind then. Like, that doesn't even enter, like, the fact that I would never say I can't do a marathon because I'm just not even interested. It doesn't even cross my mind to do that. Like, I was like, ew, no. Ew. Like, I'm just not. Ew.
At one point, I wanted to be able to. So, I also used to really love running. So,
oh, okay, you love running, yeah.
I've had to really reframe that for myself as my body has limits and I have to support it. And I have chosen most days to really support that through more positive self-talk. Because if I start to list out the things that I cannot do, and I say that again with like air quotes, that I cannot do, like I start limiting myself in a lot more ways and creating this negative headspace. So I try to focus personally. Yes, I have grieved the fact that my body will not be able to do some of the things that maybe I wanted to at one point. However, I create the positive mindset of what can I do? What can I focus on? So that I'm creating that more supportive and confident environment.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, thanks.
And it's about challenging when you are faced with something, okay, that outside the realm of what you're referring to, that is possible, and you're saying that you can't. It's about challenging those thoughts, like reframing things in your mind about, saying I can rather than I can't. It's about when you're being overly critical and too much doubts creeping in, just challenge those thoughts. And again, I feel like I say this every week, but it's daily. Like, that's just also not a thing that you're going to do once and you're going to get through and be like, yay, I'm done now. Treat yourself. Yeah. I would never say, like, if you came to me and said, I want to, let's not use run a marathon because that's not a good example for you. I want to travel to Ireland.
Yeah.
I would never say to you, oh, no, you can't really do that, can you? So why would I do that to myself?
Right.
Like treat yourself with how you would respond to other people when they're giving you their goals or something that they want to do. There's not a chance in hell that I would say to somebody else, "Oh, you can't do that." Haha. Nah. You're not good enough for that.
Yeah, that works really well into number 5 and even into number 6. So number 5, challenge negative self-talk. You're not going to say the things to yourself that you wouldn't say to a friend. You are the one person who you have throughout your entire life. The singular person. And you are the person who hears your voice the most. So make it something nice, make it something good, because at the end of the day, you should be your own best friend.
100%.
Say nice things.
Great. What was that? Number 5. I've already lost my type A's. Sorry. Number 6. What do we have? Number 6. Embrace positive body language. I like this one.
Yeah. It's a tough one for a lot of people.
It's like standing tall, being strong. We spoke about, getting in that confidence, speaking with people, making eye contact, removing that doubt just in your body, like smiling to people.
Yeah. Yeah, just a smile.
Okay, I don't know if you do affirmations, and we're going to go into this as well, but when you're doing them and you're like, if you're smiling while you're saying them, that's feedback to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too much because I know we're going to do a whole topic on affirmations, but sorry, there's a little teaser for you.
I love it.
I
love it. But yeah, the way that you physically hold yourself and the way that you communicate with your body and your presence really is a confidence, a whole confidence thing. Like, and it's not necessarily for anyone else. It's not to put on a confident show for anyone else. It's so that you feel confident in yourself. It's, again, how you stand, how you hold yourself, how you sit, how you move through the world. And if you can do that with more of a smile and standing tall, you will be so much more capable of doing other things, of doing difficult things, because you are already showing up in a way that says, I believe in myself. Heck yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It seems so simple, but it's just about feeling, like having that, like presenting confident.
Yeah. Have you ever done like the superhero pose?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Where you stand, you put your hands on your hips and you just like stand as tall as you can and you stand there. You just stand there. And you stand as tall as you can. And it can actually change like the way that you feel internally.
Yes.
Simply by changing your posture. So I highly encourage everyone to try that, to do that at least once every day over this next week, where you stand for 30 seconds to a minute, just in a tall superhero pose, thinking nothing but smiles and confident things, saying good things about yourself. Great way to practice those affirmations.
Yeah, it's really good. That's a really good one.
That we'll talk about.
That we'll talk about. What are we up to? Number 7. Couple more to go, so we'll just keep it shortish and sweet. But visualize your success. Visualizing is a very powerful tool. I feel like I have a story around this. I'm going to let you take the reins, but you can really overcome a lot with visualizing what you want to achieve. It helps your brain practice success, and it helps you reframe your mind.
Both like with visualizing your success, it is about creating that entire scene. It's not just the seeing part. It's the creating the entire sensory experience. How does this feel? How does it sound? How does it smell? What does that internal feeling when you are in that space where you have achieved this thing, where you feel this specific way, what is that like? What do you experience? I did this actually yesterday with a journal. I was feeling real scattered. And so when I feel really scattered, I sit and I brain dump everything into it. And it was, okay, what is a small goal for this week? And how does it feel? And what does it look like when you've achieved that? And I was like, oh, it feels peaceful and calm. And I was like, okay, that's actually how I want to feel. So if I can go about this thing feeling peaceful and calm and knowing that I can achieve this during this week, that's even better. Like, great. It just gave me more motivation, actually, which was phenomenal. It put me in the right headspace, which, great. But you said you had a story.
Yeah, so that's why I was telling you to talk about this, because fun fact, I actually can't visualize. I know. It's a whole thing. And it'll probably take over the episode. But I can't, like, I have that thing where you can't see images in your mind. Everyone listening's going to be like, what? Because everyone I tell is like, no, surely not.
Yeah, right? I'm like, I see things all the time. And like, I'm also a super vivid dreamer. So it is all day, all night, all the time. It's like thoughts and images. But at the same time, you do like vision boarding, which I feel like is another good way to go about that. If you can't see it internally, you can create an external representation, which
100%. And look, I still have goals and I still know where I want to go. That doesn't stop that. It's just like, I can't do the whole close your eyes, imagine yourself in 6 months' time, where you are, what does that look like? Like, I've just got nothing going on.
So like visual meditation for you isn't a thing.
No.
Where it's
and
like,
I can't hear audio either.
Imagine yourself laying on the beach, the waves crashing up slowly onto the sand and the seagulls overhead. How many do you see?
Yeah, it's relaxing. I've done it before.
But you
can't
can't see
seagulls? It. No idea, mate. No idea.
No.
I don't know, 10. I just make it up.
Great.
10 seagulls. Great.
Awesome.
I figured out that I had this because it happened. I actually was able to visualize once in my life. Twice, actually. One time was during one of those. It was like leading into a yoga nidra, like the sleep yoga. And we did like this visualization. And I was like, what's that? What's happening? Like, I actually had this like image. And I was like, it was so foreign that I was like so amazed. And I was like, why? What? Like, I couldn't understand. But then anyway, as time goes on, I've learned that I've got this thing. But so technically, I think I have hypophantasia. There's like aphantasia, which is none. So because it's happened to me before, they say that I have hypophantasia.
That's wild.
Anyway.
Were you like freaked out that one time you could visualize something? Were you like, what is this?
I think at the time, and now I'm like, damn it, I actually miss out on that. But I also don't, like a lot of people, you know, when you like read a book and you like visualize the scenes and you like can hear their voices.
Yes.
Like, what do they sound like? I got nothing. Like, I just read
serious?
words. Yeah, nothing. Like, I don't know what the characters' voices sound like. I don't have a audio or anything.
How do you do with fiction? Like fiction reading?
It's just words. I know.
Like, there's a full movie playing in my head when I read a book.
Apparently that's a thing. But I still stand by. If you have any questions about this, because I know it's weird. My friends ask me questions all the time. So please, message us on Instagram. I'd be more than happy to share. It's quite funny, I know, and I know it's not common. So I thought it was common, but apparently it's not. Anyway.
Nope, I've met exactly one other person who has that.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
I
my
have that.
partner's brother. Weird. It was so weird.
Oh, that's actually quite a close connection. My sister has it. Apparently it's hereditary. Anyway, my sister has it too.
It's like people who don't have an inner monologue. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't.
I
don't.
That'd be so peaceful.
I feel like I think words, but I think in words, not in sound. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Message me on Instagram, but I still stand by visualizing your success because it does. It works still. Like if you think about whether you can see the image or not, think about where you want to be and do a vision board, as you said, if that's something that.
Correct.
I think I completely lost
number
what number up to. Number 8.
Number 8. Practice gratitude.
Back to type E's. Practice gratitude. Gratitude. I love gratitude every single day. Doesn't have to be a big thing. It's really simple. Wake up, Think of 3 things you're grateful for. The end. Start your day on a positive note. It's so easy, but many of us don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's coming from a place of abundance rather than lacking. And that changes how you do literally everything and gives you this sense of peace, I feel like, in anything else you're trying to achieve, because you're grateful for what you already have and what you've already done. And you start to see things from a different perspective. So before you get out of bed in the morning, before you go to sleep at night, or if you're in a weird funk, if you're driving, gosh, any time of day, like, take a second to say at least something that you're grateful for.
It doesn't have to be a big thing either. Like, it can actually be, I'm grateful for, like, my warm bed.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for waking up. Like, I'm grateful for my cup of tea. Like, they can be, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm so grateful for, you know, and you're listing the most greatest accomplishment you've ever done in your life.
Yeah.
Like, just keep it simple.
I'm grateful I didn't spill my cereal this morning.
That's a good one.
I'm incredibly grateful because my proprioception has not been great over the past like week and a half, and I have spilled my cereal twice. And so this morning when I didn't, I was like, yes, victory. We did it. We didn't spill anything.
So not only celebrating small wins, you're also gratitude that you're doing both.
Heck yes.
Heck yes.
Good stuff.
Number 9, type A's, where we're sticking in now.
I like it.
You like it? Yeah, I'm a bit of a typer sometimes. But then, like, I like to receive it in this form, but then I sometimes get sidetracked myself. Anyway, surround yourself with positivity. I feel like we've a whole episode kind of on this, you know, right, about your circle and positive people. So definitely head back and listen to this. But in a nutshell, the people in your life have a huge impact on your confidence. And we need to be surrounding ourselves with people who lift us up, support our goals, encourage us, not people who bring us down. So episode 8, I think that was, head back. We spoke about a whole relationships in our circle and things like that. So yeah, that's a really good whole episode on that.
What you surround yourself with is infectious. Like, people's attitudes are infectious, whether they be negative or positive. So either you can give yourself a case of the flu by the people that you're around, or you can give yourself a boost of sunshine. Like, you get the choice as to what to infect yourself with and spread.
Yep.
Which is might be a gross way to put that, but it is also like flu season here. So that's on the mind.
That's on the mind, yes.
That is straight up in my mind.
Where are we at? Number 10?
10.
No. 10. Last one.
Yeah, and if we're not at 10, somebody correct us at some point.
Whatever,
like, only did 9.
With it. Oh, sorry. Be consistent. I love this one. I think I've said that about all of them, but genuinely, things, and I say it every week, which is why I'm passionate about it, things happen over time. Yep. Daily practices. They don't happen in 1 minute. They're never a destination. We have to be consistently doing these things to continually, even just like maintain a level of confidence, or not, let alone build it. It's still daily. Like, we still have to do things. Even like I spoke about last week, someone like myself who has been confident throughout their life. If I let negativity get in and I let self-doubt creep in all the time, I would lose it. Yeah. It would diminish. So it's about every day, even if it feels hard, making sure we're doing our gratitude, making sure we're celebrating wins, all the things that we've spoken about, is being consistent around all of those.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every single day. I mean, it takes 30 days to build a new habit, right? And it's 30 days of being consistent every single day with something as simple as making your bed every morning. It takes 30 days. So building confidence isn't one of those things that is just a single habit. It is a series of habits that you have to build over time with daily practice. So start with one of these things. It doesn't have to be, all 10 that we've just listed. It doesn't have to be, a whole, oh my God, I have to do everything all at once. It is a thing you build on. It's building blocks. You build a good foundation and you start to build from there. It's a small daily practice with small little wins that we build on. And before you know it, you again will be running that 100 kilometers.
So far. That's so far.
I have no idea. I meant,
okay, no one's
in your
running
brain.
100 kilometers, just saying. In your brain, yeah, great.
In your brain, up here. You're running the marathon in your brain.
And, we've sort of like listed out things and created like topics of them all. But also remember that they're not big. Like practicing gratitude is not a huge thing. Celebrating your wins is not a huge thing. You're not making drastic changes in your life daily. Some of them are bigger than others. Like if you find you have a negative circle or whatever, changing your circle, that's a big thing. But, as I said, saying 3 things you're grateful for, celebrating the small wins, doing a bit of visualization, like where do I want to be in 6 months, being confident in your body and stuff, they're just tiny changes. Yeah. But they make such a big impact, which is why they're like a whole thing,
Yep. Little things add up.
Anyway, 10 points to build confidence. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. 10 tips to take into your daily practice for confidence.
I said we're going to keep it short, but I don't know that we did, but
That's all right. I think it's good stuff. Yeah, if you feel like this is going to benefit somebody in your circle, in your life, if you have a specific tip that you really liked out of today or one that you're going to practice, take it and share it on your social media and tag us. Tag us in that. Take that tip and tell us what you're doing with it throughout this week and throughout the next 2 weeks or the next month or whenever you see it. Just take it. Let us know that you're working on it. We want to hear.
Yeah, I love that. And as always, have a great day or night.
Yeah. Whatever time of day it is there.
Whatever time it is.
All right. We'll talk soon. Bye.